play this. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. So annoying. So annoying. Computer issues are so annoying. But like with everything going on, especially multi-streaming, you just have a lot of different hats that you're juggling, you know? I think so. We'll see. Let's see. Let's see. Do something real quick. Settings. Privacy. Third-party cookies. See all site data. And then what? Nope. Okay. Sweet. Sounds better. We'll see. Okay. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. My weekend was pretty good, man. Yeah, we just had a chill weekend with the kids and the fam. It was good. Let me try this real quick. All right. That's good. Sounds better. That's good. Open file location. Oh, interesting. Okay. It's not working. Okay. Just do this. Done. Too many things. Okay, here we go. Okay. Here we go. Back to it.
told the head of the International Criminal Court, quote, "This court is for Africa and thugs like Putin. It is not for democracies like Israel and the United States."
It's like, it's so crazy because his ideology is literally like that Russia is an imperialist, and yet, but like where does it fall? Like how are the other nations that he's talking about not imperialist in that for that same reasoning? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. It don't make sense.
Unquote. Graham became a close ally.
Yeah, they're literally doing the same thing. I mean, they haven't, like, the United States hasn't taken parts of Venezuela and said this is ours now, like this is part of the United States. But like Israel has done with parts of the West Bank, but it doesn't make any sense.
Ally of President Trump, but during his unsuccessful failed presidential run in 2016, Graham had this to say about Donald Trump.
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for. And you know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell.
Dude, we watched how he was forcefully, this wasn't dead just, 10 years ago in 2015, 2016, right? This Lindsey Graham came out after January 6th. He was so mad. He was furious. He was like, this has gone on too long. He was furious about this stuff happening. And you could tell that he was telling the truth there. You could tell that he was, living in that moment. He was speaking off the cuff. He really felt he was impassioned about it. And then he bent the knee again. It's so boring.
South Carolina's Republican governor will now pick a replacement to serve out the rest of Senator Graham's term, which ends in January. Republicans will hold a special primary in August to pick a candidate to run in November. In other news from the Senate, Kentucky Republican Mitch McConnell has finally revealed details about why he's been hospitalized for the past month. In a statement, the 84-year-old McConnell said he fell on June 14th at home and became, quote, briefly unconscious. He later developed what he described as a mild case of pneumonia.
It says in there for 3 weeks.
McConnell also released a photograph from his hospital bed with his wife, Elaine Chao. McConnell's planning to retire at the end of his current term in January. With McConnell's absence and the death of Lindsey Graham, the Republicans have
51.
just 51 votes in the Senate for now.
Dude, that's so awesome, guys. Oh, it's just 51, man. 51. So just man, it's just so wild how awesome Biden was at getting so much stuff passed with the 50-50 Senate, and how awful Trump is at getting anything passed with 51. You know what I mean? It just goes to show that Biden was an actual president, right? Instead of Trump just being a wannabe autocrat. Absolutely. And just it's a great example. Bro died of a sudden heart condition. Yeah, I saw that. That was the initial autopsy report. Happens all the time with older people. MAGA was so quick to yell Russia or Israel did it. Bro, exactly, Deveza in YouTube chat. Thanks for hanging out, dude. Bro, oh my God, the whole Mossad, it was Mossad that did it. Just, bro, I mean, come on, guys. Everything is not connected to Israel. Come on, guys. It's just wild. The conspiracies that people get into. It's so tiring, it's so lazy, and it's so frustrating to see the people dive into these conspiracies.
The Justice Department has subpoenaed 4 journalists at the New York Times after they reported President Trump's new Air Force One lacked key security features, including advanced anti-missile capabilities. The Boeing aircraft had been donated to Trump by Qatar and then refurbished. Trump flew on the plane last week to the NATO summit in Turkey, but then took the old Air Force One home due
Oh,
to
dang.
security concerns. The Times
Oh,
reported subpoenas were issued to the reporters Julian Barnes,
that must have been
Eric
why.
Lipton, who just won the Pulitzer Prize, Tyler Pager, and Eric Schmidt. The subpoenas were issued by Jay Clayton, the U.S. attorney in Manhattan, who was recently nominated by Trump to serve as
That
director
must have
of
been
national
why.
intelligence. Clayton's confirmation hearing is set for Wednesday. A lawyer for the New York Times said, quote, "This brazen act should be seen as nothing more than an attempt to prevent the public from knowing what is happening in their country by intimidating journalists from doing their jobs,"
Of course.
unquote.
I mean, isn't
The
that exactly what
Committee
it
to
is?
Protect Journalists head, Jody Ginsburg, said, quote, "The subpoenas are an extraordinary escalation in President Trump's efforts to threaten and intimidate
Yeah.
independent news organizations and have a chilling effect on the work of journalists across the country,"
Isn't that just
unquote.
de facto what's happening? I mean, isn't the whole point is to intimidate them? I mean, that's like feel like that's light. They're like they're not even trying to go hard there. They're just saying exactly what happened. I mean, this is exactly what we feared would happen though, right? That the new plane wouldn't have security measures, or that there would be something within there that Qatar or Saudi Arabia or something, an allied nation to Qatar, would have access to. And they obviously did. They obviously did have some type of knowledge in what this plane is specifically susceptible to, and they didn't know. They didn't know. They weren't able that the I mean, the Secret Service is not serious now. They're not a serious organization like they were, and they didn't do a due diligence check on this stuff. Like, how could they not know?
The New York Times has revealed U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has become the de facto viceroy of Venezuela,
What?
effectively controlling Venezuela's finances, the distribution of its
What?
natural resources, and its government. Rubio's
What?
informal role began after U.S. forces attacked Venezuela in January and abducted the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife, Celia Flores. Maduro's former vice president, Elsie Rodriguez, has since served as Venezuela's acting president, but the Times reports Rubio has essentially been running Venezuela from afar, even controlling Rodriguez's public appearances and statements, as well as her governmental appointments.
That is how I mean, the idea that the Secretary of State has, like, some power to run foreign nations unilaterally without any type of congressional action, no law that's been passed, no due diligence checks, no check-in with Congress, guys. Like, the idea that we have to have authorization to use military force in a sovereign nation, and yet the Secretary of State could just run a foreign nation? the the it's so unconstitutional. It's so brazen. Like, we can't. This is, again, this is Airbud rules, right? This is exactly what Airbud's whole thing. Well, you didn't say that the Secretary of State couldn't be the president of another country. It's not in the Constitution, so therefore it's legal. Like, what? This can't. These aren't serious people. This is insane.
The Times likened Rubio's role to that of Paul Bremer, who was installed by George W. Bush to run Iraq after the 2003 U.S.
Jeez.
invasion. In Europe, a group
How are the Venezuelans even allowing that? I don't think that they have a choice. I don't think that they don't have to. I mean, they're basically holding the previous president hostage, right? Isn't he still is he still detained in the United States? Or like facing trial? Like, I don't think that they have a choice, Anna. I think that's the crazy thing is that and this is what I mean, exactly what imperialism is, right? Where the United States have basically taken over Venezuela de facto, and we're just running it without any congressional approval, without any international support, and we're bombing up to over 60 different boats now that are leaving Venezuelan's waters. So like we're like, which is illegal. Like I don't understand it.
Of scientists warned extreme heat led to 10,000 excess deaths in the last month. Germany recorded nearly...
Oh, in time. What's up, dude? How's it going? How's it going, brother? Nice to see you. De facto, look at this guy. Whoa. Oh, what's up, Titan? How are you guys? Nice to see you.
100 deaths by drowning.
Welcome.
Over the weekend, wildfires raged in Spain, killing at least 12 people. It's one of the deadliest
Hey,
wildfires
Steven, how's it
in
going?
the country's history. In Greece, authorities have urged residents in Greece's second largest city, Thessaloniki, to stay indoors and secure their windows and doors because of toxic smoke caused by a recycling plant engulfed by a wildfire. Meanwhile, in France, hundreds of firefighters are battling a wildfire south of Paris. A Trump...
What's up, dude? I love I love that. Dr. Greg. I bet you aren't even a real Greg. It's true. It's true. I'm a Gregory. You're right. I've been well, man. I've been doing good. Yeah, the YouTube's been taking off, which is nice. The algorithm is liking my content finally, so it's been really fun. It's been really cool to see YouTube taking off after all these years, man. It's wild. So yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, thanks for asking.
Appointed federal judge has approved a request by the Justice Department to dismiss seditious conspiracy charges against 5 members of the far-right group the Proud Boys in connection with the January 6th insurrection. In his order, Judge Timothy Kelly said he did not agree with President Trump granting clemency to the rioters, but that he had no choice but to comply.
Why?
After taking office, President Trump pardoned all of the nearly 1,600 rioters for taking part in the attack on the Capitol, which injured more than 100 police officers.
Why would a judge be forced to comply? Exactly, Omar. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, dude. Again, I don't get these like handshake deals where why. Like so much of our justice system is just handshake deals, right? It's just like the whole idea of a president can't be charged is like a memo. It's not even law. It's not even, it's actually not even adjudicated at the Supreme Court, and Democrats just kind of go like, oh, I mean, the memo is there, as opposed to just like, uh, bite me. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's so frustrating to me. Like these are the things, the congressional norms that the next president, the next Democrat has to fight on, right? Like I want him charging Trump with everything that we can in terms of how he's broken the law, corruption charges, everything. Like, don't tell me, oh, we can't charge an ex-president because of a memo. Don't tell me that. It's not in the Constitution, guys. It's not in the Constitution that the president isn't above the law. It's just Chief Justice John Roberts and his opinion that the president is somehow immune from these things, but don't tell me that. Like, you didn't tell me that ex-presidents couldn't also be charged. Exactly. Yeah, Titan. Yeah, his immunity is for office acts while in president. Exactly. And there's 3 different types of immunity that he has capable of doing. So, like, it doesn't matter. I don't care if the Supreme Court has ruled it. I don't care if there is a memo. He has to be absolutely charged. Oh yeah, dude. So ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is the brain rot as MAGA deconstructs. You can see it live in TikTok chat right now. American imperialist quote, I think both sides have dirty people, so it would be had to make it law. Bro, the idea of both sides being corrupt is absolutely the biggest cope that anyone could say right now. Like, I'm sorry, but there is no corruption on the Democratic side that even holds a single percentage point against what the Trump administration is doing right now. Like, you cannot sit there and say both sides to this. Like, you just haven't actually been paying attention to politics. You don't understand what's going on. I mean, a lot of people like a lot of Trump supporters just started paying attention to politics because of Trump. So you don't actually understand the Constitution. You don't understand how it works. And it's so funny because as soon as we talk about what Trump can do, it's a lawlessness of like, you can't restrain him at all. You can't restrain the Constitution can't even restrain him. It's actually Trump who decides what's the Constitution and what parts of the Constitution he's going to enforce. But then as soon as the Democrats are involved and we start talking about the Democrats and what Dems can do, we talk about all of a sudden MAGA becomes constitutional lawyers. Oh, actually, there is a checks and balances system that is, important for the Constitution. You're like, get out of here, bro. Get out of here. Like, it just in wild to me. It's just it's so in I'm not surprised though. I'm not surprised that this is where we're headed. I am flabbergasted that anyone gives MAGA any time of day or takes it seriously anymore, any of their cry wolves. And that's genuinely what I want the next Democratic president to think about. Like, how are we going to hold these people accountable? That is the biggest thing. MAGA thinks Trump signed the Constitution. Yeah, exactly. The system is corrupt, but he is definitely raising the bar. Yeah, I mean, is okay. I can understand there are some level of corruption that exists on the Democratic side. Like, of course, right? It's not a 0 percentage, but the level and the brazenness and the lawlessness, like, is just it's so embarrassing. It's embarrassing to see people just defenestrate themselves live, in 4K for this guy when all he is out for and the corruption that all he is out for is himself. Like that, he is just about himself making money. He's all about his own family gaining more power. He's not looking out for you. Doesn't care about any type of quality of life improvement for you. He doesn't want to improve your living conditions. He thinks that the whole, you know, affordability nonsense is a joke. He's even said he doesn't think about the war in Iran. He doesn't think about the American people a single second. He literally says that. And yet people sit there and make excuses for him time and time and time again on TikTok chats and panels talking about how, oh, he's looking out for us. He's doing the best thing for America. He literally says otherwise. He literally says, I do not care about the American people. I do not care about inflation rising. I don't care about the cost of goods. He doesn't care. He cares about himself. It's so brazenly apparent at this point. We've had 11 years of this guy in our zeitgeist, in our politics. This isn't a new concept. Exactly, Dr. Jace, exactly. And the $1.5 billion that is made on specifically Trump coin crypto. Like the people don't talk about this enough. Like we're talking about he's made like it was like $700 million on the investment that he made in the company that is running the crypto coin that he has. But then it's like another $800 million or something that he has made specifically on Trump coin himself. So he put hundreds of millions of dollars into the Trump coin. It skyrockets, right? And then he sells it. He made hundreds, like $500 million from Trump supporters that bought his own coin. He rug pulled his own coin. He devastated the finances of Trump supporters himself in order to make money off of them. Like, there is an alternate reality where, Trump coin becomes this, like a Tesla stock. Everyone's like, "Why does this keep going up? This is crazy. What's going on?" All the Trump supporters are making hand over fist money. They're like, "I put in $1,000, it's up to $10,000. This is amazing." And Trump supporters are going on TikTok panels going like, "Man, I'm just making so much money off of Trump coin. This is hilarious." And no Dem wants to actually like get involved with it because it's weird, and here all the Trump supporters are just laughing all the way to the bank. Did that happen? No. Trump decided that not to happen. He literally chose to make Trump coin a joke and a meme and something that we can all laugh at and we can point to as an absolute example of his brazen corruption. And basically all Trump coin now it's all it is a slush fund for foreign governments in order to pay him money. That's what it is. And it's him making money off of the backs of his own supporters. How does that make any sense? And you have people just defending him. It blows my mind, man. It blows my mind. Genuinely.
Protests are continuing in Houston, Texas, after an ICE agent fatally shot Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, a
This makes me so mad.
52-year-old Mexican father who'd lived in the United States for decades. He was shot after being stopped while driving to a construction site with 3 other men who were detained. Houston Police Chief Diaz is expected to meet with the FBI on Tuesday in an attempt to access evidence gathered by federal investigators.
What
On Friday,
evidence?
the family of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo and lawmakers gathered to call for an independent investigation after eyewitnesses disputed claims made by ICE agents. Hugo Baldera Ibarra is a lawyer for the family.
After speaking with these men, I have no doubt that what they're saying is the truth. I know that these agents, the agency is going to try to cover it up. This is not the first time that it happens. This has become a pattern where ICE agents claim that they use their vehicle as a deadly weapon, that they tried to run over the agents and the agents shot in self-defense.
Wild.
All 3 of my clients reiterated that at no point was there ever an agent standing in front of the vehicle, nor was an agent ever placed in the line of danger. That is simply false, and I believe my clients are telling the truth.
We'll have more on this story later in the...
This absolutely infuriates me. The idea that anyone is okay with a personal police force by the President of the United States going door to door and removing the rights for Americans to freely move throughout the country, going door to door, harassing people just because of their skin color. like, in what way is your freedom being protected? How do you feel liberated in a country where you are never going to be allowed to move throughout the country based off of the color of your skin? For what? Like, they're not even harassing people based off of immigration status. They're actually deporting people that are here legally. And on top of that, the things that they're doing, right, are creating instability in our markets, in our communities, and the in the homes of Americans. For what? Like, for what liberty are we getting? How do you feel more free with this happening? And what's so wild to me is that here we are, we have something like this happening, right? And we know what the Republicans would do in this aspect, right? We know that they would be flipping out, right? We know this because of Jade Helm. If you aren't aware, Jade Helm was a conspiracy that the Republican Party concocted, and that was pushed on Fox News for years during the Obama administration. And it was a conspiracy created because this is not a joke. Walmart was doing construction in throughout Texas, and they were putting these shipping containers in order to actually create storage in their parking lots. And the entire Republican Party thought that Obama was invading Texas through a series of underground tunnels, and they were trying, the federal government was trying to take over Texas. This is called Jade Helm. This is completely real. And just off of the idea that there could be federal overreach inside of one of the states. That is and they flipped out because of this. This is real. I'm not making this up. Just the idea of a federal overreach into a state made them concoct an entire conspiracy because there were shipping containers in Walmart parking lots. That's how crazy that they've gotten. That they sit here and now they, you know, they defend and allow this to happen to US citizens in our own cities because of a completely fabricated threat that doesn't exist. It's embarrassing, dude. It's embarrassing. So it's just I can't. It's so wild to me. It's so wild to me that we've gotten so far. You just can't even. We've deported citizens over this. We have jailed citizens over this. We have detained people that are here legally because of this. We've done everything, like in the guise of immigration. And what is the main thing that you hear all the time? What is the main thing that you hear all the time that they say? Oh, I'm not for illegal immigration, but I love legal immigration. That was a lie the entire time. That was a lie the entire time, and we know that because where are the Republicans that are fighting back, right, on this, right? There is an alternative reality where Republicans that are like, I do care about legal immigration, so them actually detaining people that are doing immigration legally is a bad thing, so I'm not going to support this. And they are absent. They do not care. Republicans do not care about him cracking down on legal immigration. And meanwhile, immigration gives more money in tax money than Republican states. Immigrants give this country in federal tax money $100 billion a year. $100 billion a year immigrants give to the United States in a form of basically a bank account that they can pay into, knowing full well that they're not going to get any federal money back. They're not going to get any federal services in Medicare or Social Security, but they just want to do due diligence and just make sure that that's there. And yet, how much money does Kansas give back? Mississippi, Alabama, are they giving $100 billion? No, actually, they're net negative. So we actually give these Republican states more money than they make in federal taxes. So, and in actuality, immigrants legitimately give us more as a nation in terms of economic development than a majority of Republican states. Those are just the facts. That's just the numbers. It's wild, man. It is a wild state of affairs that we live in. It's absolutely reprehensible.
Week. There have been protests of hundreds of people over the weekend in Houston. The Justice Department's investigating Yale's admissions practices for its medical school, law school, and undergraduate college. Now, Yale Law School's dean, Christina Rodriguez, and several other law school faculty members are urging Yale's leadership not to settle with the Trump administration, saying it would be damaging to the rule of law and would compromise Yale University's reputation.
True.
According to the Yale Daily News, the university's first settlement offer was rejected by the Trump administration. Yale has since offered a second proposal. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut said, quote, "As I've told top Yale officials, Trump's word means nothing. An agreement with these corrupt bullies is only an invitation to more law-breaking abuse," Senator Blumenthal said. In election news,
It's so true. The capitulation by our universities for bending the knee to the to this lawless administration. Again, it's unfathomable. Like, the best law schools in the world aren't going to fight the federal government on this. Like, what? By the way, guys, I'm sorry, but if you aren't using your endowment of, 45-50 billion dollars, which, by the way, in Ivy League schools was built by slavery, you're not going to use that endowment that you have, that slush fund that you've created over the centuries to fight back on this stuff. You don't deserve to have your endowment. We're going to tax your endowment. We should absolutely take Harvard's and Yale's and all of these universities that refuse to fight in the courts this administration, and we should tax that endowment, and we should give it to other R2 and R3 universities. They should go to historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs. It's an absolute disgrace that this academic capitulation they know this is happening, but they know that if they just bend the knee, they're going to get their grants back. They're going to get hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars in federal money back. And so they capitulate. They capitulate everywhere. We need to start a database of Trump bending the knee, capitulating cowards, so that we never deal with them again, so that we can ostracize them. They don't deserve the power that comes with capital. We need to take that capital away from them. It's insane, man.
Federal judge in Atlanta has rejected the Justice Department's subpoena seeking the names of election workers in Fulton County, Georgia, from the 2020 election. Judge William Ray wrote in his order, quote, "Such a large disclosure of information threatens to chill participation in future elections, which will surely impact Fulton County," unquote. President Trump continues to repeat the false claim he won the state of Georgia in the 2020 election, accusing Fulton County officials of so-called ballot fraud. It comes as President Trump is pushing Congress to pass the Save America Act, which would require proof of citizenship to register to vote and identification at the polls. Meanwhile, in Texas, the state's Attorney General, Ken Paxton, has reportedly listed an address where he did not reside while voting in several elections during the last 2 years. This comes as Paxton has warned voters about misrepresenting their residence on election records.
What?
The president of PEN America, the novelist Dana Mengistu, has resigned from his position in part because of an article published by the organization about Israeli and Jewish writers denouncing cultural boycotts. Mengistu said in an interview with the New York Times he didn't agree with the publication of the article because it could cast the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions, BDS movement, as discrimination instead of protected political speech. Mengistu said, quote, "We have the responsibility to be conscious and aware of how our work can impact and influence those debates, and especially if that means producing work that might actually restrict or limit or suppress what is constitutionally protected speech, unquote.
Hmm.
In the email to the New York Times, PEN America said, quote, PEN America has long opposed cultural and academic boycotts, but we have always drawn a clear line between disagreeing with a tactic and defending the right to use it, unquote. And civil rights leaders are backing an independent investigation into the mysterious death of Nolan Wells, an 18-year-old Black college athlete whose body was
I
found
haven't heard
last
about
week
this.
on a barrier island in Mississippi. Wells had taken a boat to the island with a group of white friends to celebrate the July 4th holiday. The friends say Wells chose to stay on the island when
What?
they returned home.
What?
Authorities say Wells may have accidentally drowned, but his family has questioned the official story, in part because Wells' cell phone was found not with his body, but in the possession of one of his friends who returned home. Wells' mother spoke at a news conference Friday.
What?
Nolan is the kindest soul. He never met a stranger. He loved everybody. He didn't care if you were black, white, purple, green, looked like a marshmallow. Like, he just wanted everyone to be in peace with one another. He loved life, and God gave him this big heart, which always scared us. Me and his dad had conversations with him all the time, not just about the importance of understanding our history as Black people, but also the importance of how you have to move in certain spaces.
The family of Nolan Wells is being represented by civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who also spoke at Friday's news conference.
It is because the family has distrust of the Mississippi law enforcement officials giving them a fair investigation where their black son ended up dead after going out on a boat with 3 young white men. The history of Mississippi is something that they don't just read about in books, but it's a lived experience for many Black Americans.
And
Did they not know him? Did they not know him?
those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!
Come on, guys. Teenagers are teenagers. I mean, okay, then also, like, teenagers don't get to just murder somebody. I mean, come on. That's not a normal thing that teenagers like get to do. I'm sorry. That you don't get to just do that to people. You know, that's not okay. Like, they need, if they were friends, then why aren't they coming forward like with more information? I mean, that's just really sketchy. That doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, that's, like, I have lots of friends. They haven't ended up dead when I've hung out with them. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. So that's very weird. It sounds like they're being really, really sketchy and not actually like following through with a lot of stuff, which is very, very dangerous, right? That is very weird. Yeah, Democracy Now! Is great. It is awesome. Are they frenemies? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to learn, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't be okay with any of that happening to my kids. I mean, I can totally understand the parents being not okay with it. Yeah, but I mean, the yeah, but that's fine. Like, it's not like we go out with 5 girls and we'd all go our separate ways. But dude, you wouldn't leave someone on an island out. What are you talking about? You would never be okay with that. That would never be something that you'd be like, "Oh, well, I mean, it happens." Like, what? That doesn't make any sense, man. That doesn't make any sense. You'd fight that? Kids are weird, but yeah, again, that's not okay to just okay, no parent would be okay with how that's happening. I started Chrome and now I have the same problem. Oh my god, don't do this, Chrome. Don't do this to me. Hindsight is 2020. Yes, dude, every single homicide investigation is by definition hindsight. And yes, 2020 the person shouldn't end up losing their life, but they did, and that's like what literally the whole point of the investigation is. So, it's like, yeah, the whole point is the 2020. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that like people don't, get to escape accountability, you know? So, yeah. He had a choice and it was a bad one. Whose choice? Whose choice? Are you talking about the people that ended his life? They had a choice to not do that. like, what are you talking about? He had a choice of what? That doesn't make any sense, dude. Okay. All right. Let's watch. Can you talk about this flesh-eating bacteria and water? What? Flesh-eating bacteria? What? Vibrio vulnificus? Oh, a creepy bacteria. Oh, weird. I hadn't heard about this. A deadly bacteria is creeping up the Atlantic coast. How worried should you be? How exciting. Bailey made Bailey Majors and Sunil Kumar cut strange figures on Pensacola Beach. Bags of disinfected solutions surrounded them. Okay, bro, is this like a narrative thing? Like, what is going on? Can we just like, what is this narrative writing? Flesh-eating bacteria, symptoms, and what is it? Like, how common is it? What is, I had no idea about this. I wouldn't I wouldn't be worried about it. I mean, I don't think that it's like something that's necessarily like it's kind of not a problem, I don't think. Not a big problem. I'd be more worried about like measles and all the other ways that our public health is being impacted rather than this kind of stuff. He wasn't forced to stay. It's a party island. Dude, doesn't sound like it was that big of a party if he wound up dead. Like, come on, dude. Like, what kind of party are you guys going to that happens? Like, what are you talking about? It came from Trump's reflection pool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, Aaron Parnas just steals people's content and then talks up sentence about it and then says it. He doesn't do any type of due diligence work. He has no idea what he's talking about. I don't even think Aaron Parnas knows the words that are coming out of his mouth. He just like talks about headlines that he reads and then he just like goes through, oh, Ken Vet, thank you so much for the super chat, dude. Thank you so much for the interesting insights. Well, thank you, dude. Thank you for the super chat. Dude, Parnas is a parasite in content creation. He basically just reads his notifications on his phone and gets paid ridiculous amounts of money. It is he's an absolute parasite. I'm sorry, but like people like Parnas are bad for the they're bad for our media ecosystem because it creates another layer of abstraction between actual journalism and people that want to read the news. And he doesn't source his things. It's hard for you to find it. Where is the primary sourcing on the things that he's talking about? He gets paid? Yeah, absolutely, Nico. Yeah, dude. You get paid for views that you get for the stuff. Twice in one day. Ness, that's standard where I come from. Uh, that's content creation pretty much. Melanon, I mean, bro, I mean, if you think that like that fair use in taking fair use in using someone else's content, you have to transform it in some way, right? You have to transform the content in some way and not just be reading the headlines and the subtitle. And that's what Parnas does, you know? Like we're here watching Democracy Now with you. Yeah, exactly, Mount exactly. But I'm like pausing, I'm giving feedback on the things that I'm an expert on. I'm giving expert uh ideas, right? And you're getting more out of watching Democracy Now on the things that I know about than you would if you just watch Democracy Now by yourself. So that's why it's transformative, right? Parnas doesn't actually do that. He has no expertise. He has nothing that he's adding to any of the articles that he's reading off. He literally just reads the titles and he reads the subtitles, and that's it. I mean, you could say that what he's doing and the service that he is providing is transforming print journalism into TikTok content and shorts content that then that doesn't exist, right? That is the argument that he's the role that he is forming is basically being a text to speech robot for all the news stories of the day. But that's, I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, you could just replace Aaron Parnas with an AI bot, and they do, and like he needs to cite his sources better. Yes, dude. Yes, Nico. Like and even guys, this is my problem as someone that likes to read primary sources specifically. Like the idea that he doesn't actually link to the primary sources. He doesn't link to anything. He doesn't talk about things specifically. Um, it's just it's a black hole. Like I get like given an Aaron Parnas link and I'm like, okay, now I just need to Google what he's talking about to find the news story. And then I find the news story and I'm like, okay, where is the primary source for this? So he's like, it's like 2 or 3 levels deep that he's being a distraction. It's not okay. So yeah. Dude, wait. Nico, is he in chorus? Are you serious? Are you serious? There's no way. There's no way that Aaron Parnas was in chorus. Oh my god, he's a freaking journalist. He's not a journalist. He's not a journalist. That is not. He does no journalism. That is insane. What? No way. I don't know. Actually, that's no. I don't think so. I can't see it. Dude, that is the problem with Chorus, man. Chorus, like they back people with like millions of followers. Like, I'm sorry, dude, that's ridiculous. Like, dude, like Chorus backed what? David Pakman? Like David Pakman? Like what? Like what? David Pakman? That's it. That's an up and coming YouTube channel. David Pakman. He's a nationally syndicated radio talk show host and has like a million plus on his YouTube. Like what? And like, dude, I mean, I love Good Trouble like as much as anyone, but Good Trouble was in the last chorus cohort. Like Good Trouble, dude. Are you serious? Like, give me a break, dude. Like, come on, man. I mean, I'm jealous. I'm jealous, obviously. Like, I'll be real. I I obviously am. I applied, to I applied to chorus you know, when I had like, God, like 5,000 followers or something in 2 months. And, um, I didn't get it, which is wild to me, but whatever. But yeah, dude, like I don't think that Good Trouble needs help as an up and coming content creator. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't need that connection. But me, it would actually be a really big support for me because I'm basically trying to do exactly what Chorus is. The whole point of Chorus is support new and upcoming content creators and get them into shows and podcasts and media training. Like that's literally exactly what I want to do, and that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been shopping around, and that's what I've been, trying to do myself. So, and I've done that, I've gone from like what 5,000 when I first applied to what 20,000 now. So, I'm doing it, but is it for up and comers? I mean, that's what the whole idea of it was, that it is um that it is supposed to be for kind of like an incubator program for uh democratic leaning content creators. Yeah. We need a funded pipeline that has a low bar of entry because that's what the right has. Yeah, Malanon, exactly. Like oh, thank you, DJ Moore. What's up? Fan club for 3 months. Hell yeah, thank you. Appreciate you. I thought it was to get creators to create more. No, Nico, it's specifically in order to connect content creators with politicians, podcasts, news shows, to help them like grow, like their platforms, that kind of stuff. So it's how many folds increase did Good Trouble's followers go after Chorus? Like probably none, dude. Probably none. Um, Same thing with David Pakman. Probably none. I mean, the the counter argument would be that, well, for every David Pakman in Good Trouble, we have a guy that has 5,000 followers, and we balance that out, and we actually get, them in the room with Good Trouble and that guy so that they can coordinate. And it's really important to have big content creators and smaller content creators in there so that they can all learn collaboratively. I'm sure that's what they're thinking. I'm in good faith. I'm sure that that is what you know, their way of thinking about it is. I'm just jealous. I'm jealous. I wanted it. So let's see if the next let's see. Chorus incubator. Nope. Oh, what? Is it? Is it open? We are Chorus. We are Chorus. Do. Join. Oh, yeah, sign up for updates. Yeah, they haven't done it. Yeah, so I mean, like this is Chorus. So Chorus is actually it's probably better just to do this. Join the Chorus community. The Chorus Creator Incubator is a learning community for pro-democracy creators. We host weekly technical trainings to help creators navigate growth on different platforms. Yada yada yada. Their curriculum. Yeah, I don't know if anyone of the big guys is actually using any of this. You know what I mean? So it's like, um, yeah, I don't think they're actually doing it. Sign up for updates. We are not currently accepting new applications at this time, and they've only done two groups, and they haven't done a third. So there you go. There you go, guys. What is this all about? Like I said, back up your sources, cite your information, and make it honest. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that, Nina. I think that as a scientist, I'm only as good as my references. You know what I mean? Like when I'm debating someone, it's not me that's debating them. It's the entire field of science and biology and stuff that have done that work in order to understand it. Say, can we support your chorus quest? I mean, you're doing it right now, Ness. You're one of my biggest supporters, so you're absolutely supporting me the entire time. So I appreciate you. I've only seen big creators get it. Yeah. Yeah, Nico. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but at the same time, it's like it is what it is, man. I don't know. I don't know. I'm actually in talks with when I was interviewing with my acting and talent agency. They were on Friday. They were talking about like they actually wanted to possibly help with my show production and stuff. And I was like, okay, like I'm down. Like I do see a space on the internet bigger than what this show is for like Pierce Morgan or Real Time with Bill Maher, um, Don Lemon, that kind of stuff. Um, I do see that space in the world for like a science-minded show with high production value, where I'm like hosting a legitimate show. That I mean that is what I try to do. That's why I have like these cameras. That's why I have like that's what I envision my brain in. Hey Helen. And so it'd be interesting to actually see if my agency would actually help me with that and see kind of like if they see it as a stepping stone. We'll have to see. Okay, go to sleep. Bye. I'll see you in the morning. I'm gonna stream tonight too. I had a really good interview just now in the morning with a science company, so that was cool. That's why I'm actually streaming today because I was just like really in a good positive mood, and I was like, all right, let's roll it into let's roll it in. And this is my second interview. I'd be shocked. I mean, it was the best possible interview that it could have gone. So I'm really hopeful that it's going to lead to something. And yeah, it's actually a big pay increase too. So that my old job was paying me 100 and this is like 110 to 130. So it's actually like pretty legit. I think I can get like 120 out of it. Helen, thank you. You're always sending positive vibes, Helen. I love you guys so much. Yeah. TikTok is doing stuff for science and history too, right? Not that I'm aware of. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ness. I'm I'm happy Ness, I'm happy for us, okay? We're in this all together. You too, Efon. We're all in this together. We're all moving together for now and forever. Um, what's your field of science? So basically, I work with DNA and I change the DNA of organisms in order to do specific things. So and basically the team I play for is microbiology, and then within that team, I'm a molecular biologist. So I work with microbes, so yeast, algae, bacteria. I change their genomes around to do specific purposes, and then we make products out of the microbes. So proteins of interest, materials of interest, biofuels, medicine, that kind of stuff. Sure. Sure, Kyla. I don't Oh, that's cool. Hi, how's it going?
Hi. Hi.
What's up?
So within my DNA,
Mhm.
so I am RH negative.
Mhm.
That's first, the weirdest one that
Mhm.
I have. By the way, that sucks for most people
Hmm. Okay.
because most people don't know they're RH negative until they get pregnant. And that's when they find out about their RH negative. Because your doctor doesn't generally explain to you, hey, your blood's this.
Yeah. Gotcha, yeah.
Um, I also I have so many blood disorders. It's so weird. So I'm severe iron anemic.
Okay.
Um, I have clotting issues.
Mhm.
Can't clot.
Hmm.
And then also I have, so when I do take an iron pill or a high dose of iron from food, sorry,
You're fine.
hold on. High dose of iron from food, my body will not absorb it no matter how much B12 or 6 I take.
Mhm.
It just will not absorb it. It's like impossible for my body to absorb. However, if I take copper, my body will absorb it.
Okay.
Can you science me that? Because I have no idea.
No, I'm a research scientist, not a physician. So honestly, I don't even work with mammals and I don't work with humans at
No,
all.
my scientist, my doctors cannot figure out why. If I I got healthier as my tea kettle rested.
Hmm. Okay.
And that's how I found out about the rust and copper.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Because
I don't even know where to
as
start.
the coatings melted on it and I was ingesting more copper and more copper, my body was ingesting the iron more. Nobody can freaking tell me why.
I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. I've never worked with humans. I don't know. I've never read about this.
So only marines?
Microbes. I'm a microbiologist.
Well, I've got microbes.
People are asking, what are you on? Are you on any medications?
The only medication that I am on is on a daily dose of melatonin.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
I
produce my
apologize.
own melatonin.
Gotcha.
So I've
Justin, I
been
see you.
on
1
that
second,
since I
dude.
was like 3.
Yeah, I don't got anything for you. I'm sorry.
I have
Maybe
no idea.
hang out and chat, and Debate Doc comes in, and he's a good resource, and also Dr. Keisha Davis is another one. That'd be an interesting. She's a
Keisha Davis?
pathologist. Yeah, Dr. Keisha Davis. Keisha. Next word, Davis, Davis. That would be Dr. Keisha Davis is probably like a good resource, just because she's deals with this kind of stuff a lot.
Okay. I'll hang out here then.
Yeah, Dr. Keisha Davis comes in. She does come into chat sometimes, so that'd be yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and mute myself
Okay.
until
Okay.
just because I do have a toddler.
Okay, yeah, all good. I'll drop you down. It's all good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the question. Let's see. Justin Foster. I have a quick question. The type D orca, known to be a very rare isolated ecotype of orca, got DNA collected first time in 2019. Scientists are debating if it's a new species or not. They don't agree on what a species is. Why? That's a really interesting question. So orcas are really cool in that orcas basically, there's a ton of different genetically differentiated orcas, like a ton of different types. And species are basically populations of organisms that breed with themselves, and resident versus transient killer whales or orcas makes it so that these transients will only breed with the transients, and the residents will only breed with the residents. So what happens is that tons of genetic diversity that happens over time. So, and we know that things can look very similar to one another, but be genetically distinct. We call this cryptic species. So cryptic species are genetically divergent species that that through sequencing we can tell that they're completely different, but because they only interbreed with each other, but we through morphology and through kind of like looking at them, we wouldn't know that they are different species. So it's actually one of the cool things with sequencing is that we've kind of like learned that there's a lot more species that exist in the world than we ever thought. Um, and orcas are one of those. So they're basically people are curious, are these orcas an example of cryptic species? That's the different thing. No, we see cryptic species a lot in insects. So we see it a lot in like flies, dragonflies, that kind of thing. Uh, so isolation over time will eventually classify a new species. Yeah, so basically speciation happens because of two factors. Um, oh man, to the drawing board. To the drawing board. So you can have basically there's a population. Let's say that there's a population. Um, you have a population of orcas, right? So then you can have biotic or abiotic. You can have abiotic or biotic speciation. And basically, these are going to be completely different. So biotic would be like viruses or things like predator. So predator comes in and completely changes them so that the predators basically change what is living or what part of these orca populations would be allowed to live. Other like biotic things would be basically anything biological. So you would have prey relationships. Maybe these they maybe there would be something that died out. Maybe there would have some type of prey that they used to feed on that they don't have anymore because they migrated or something like that. These are all different ways, all big ways that things can drivers of speciation for a population. Okay, let's put this in here. This is speciation. Okay. Abiotic, this is going to be anything not biological that would have an impact on a species. So basically weather, abiotic. Also, this could be type of like an island formation. So an island pops up. Now there's new forces that basically bifurcate them. So, or it could be like a mountain range. Right? So you have a physical geographic barrier that would cause these two groups to be completely separated through speciation. Um, Also, yeah, weather, climate, islands, mountains, all that kind of stuff. Would this be the evolution of species? Yeah, exactly, cruising life. Yeah. So speciation, how things are speciate are based off of these factors, and then the evolution happens within the population, right? So evolution is the change of DNA over time in in a group, and then like natural selection, this would be natural selection would be one of these categories, right? So you would have some type of one of these drivers kind of like pushing them into this point. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I had the same question. How long does this take to happen? Shouldn't there be a clear line of demarcation? Well, not necessarily, right? I mean, sometimes it takes a long time and sometimes it doesn't. That this is something that can be selected for and evolve for. You know, the ability to change over time is in of itself something that can be the product of evolution. So a lot of times you could not want to completely change from your original species, and sometimes you would. You know, it kind of matters. Do, 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 do. It doesn't matter to me what you want. The only thing that matters to me is weird. Okay. Do you know why type D orca is debated? I saw a documentary where some say we shouldn't say that there are new species, yet some say there should be. I don't know what the type D orca is specifically, but basically it probably is one of these things where it's a cryptic species. Is it or is it not a cryptic species based off of phylogenetic evidence? So people are probably looking at genetic evidence in order to basically say, what does that make? Does that make any sense? You know, that so they're probably arguing genetic versus morphological differences and whether or not those two things are enough to make a new species. To make a new species, you have to have like a lot of different things. You have to have an isolated population. You should be genetically distinct. So a lot of times we have genetic markers that we looked. It's called the 16S ribosomal frequency uh, sequencing that we use. So 16S ribosomal sequencing will basically show whether or not there is a mutation in a part of DNA that's really conserved normally. So the fact that it's capable of having a mutation in that area is a genetic evidence that these things are completely different and they have been for a while. But phenotypic, but evolution can also just be phenotypic plasticity via Lamarckian evolution. Yeah, so phenotypic elasticity refers to the ability for one set of genomes, one genome to give multiple phenotypes. So, like for example, like let's say you have you're a snow leopard and but you live in a place that has really cold summer, a really, that really change high degree changes um, in weather or something like that. Like the ability to have different layers of coats or something could be something that is strived for during that evolutionary period. So you want that genome to be able to give you a rough, big, thick coat and a nice, easy summer coat on top of that. So that evolutionary pressure would create both of those two outcomes from the same genome. So that's called phenotypic elasticity. And you can find that it's actually really cool to see this in flies specifically. So, like flies, for example, you'll have, like, let's say you'll have like multiple, so phenotypic elasticity is cool because you can see it a lot in genome size. So basically, like let's say you have like flies, you have like a fly population, right? You have a fly population here, and then like a speciation event goes, right? And now you have two populations, okay? And then this is so this would maybe it's an abiotic speciation again event. So now these two populations are going to go forward and they're going to be given, let's say, um, in one, it's no changes. But in this one, let's say it's weather changes. crazy amounts of weather changes, okay? And the basically the results are gonna be that this fly population that's speciated, this one right here, is going to evolve like way like larger genome size. Like way larger genome size, and that gives them more elasticity, right? So more phenotypic elasticity because of the genome size, and here the genome size is the same. So a fly population that are basically brothers of one another or cousins of one another, like you'll have two fly populations that look very similar to one another, that have the same genetic lineage, and but because of some type of abiotic speciation event where this population has a bunch of weather events, this genome size will be increased, and you'll literally see it. You'll literally see like the size of their genome will be doubled, tripled, quadrupled. And it's like, why? Well, because the size of the genome gives them more building blocks to play with and to deal with like large, like big events like this weather event. Does that make sense? Do speciation events cause the ecotypes? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You can think about it in another word like niches, right? The speciation event will create kind of like a niche that didn't exist before that they can fill. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. How long do they have to sit in a speciation event for it to have an impact? That's a great question, NB. That is a great, great question. And that's one that, it really has a lot to do with the genetic diversity inside of the population already. So if it's genetically diverse, then you're gonna be able to actually deal with these type of events more quickly. Um, and if not, then that's not good. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? In botany, where I'm more comfortable, it can be breeding diploid and tetraploid members of the same species to each to produce uh, triploid. Yeah. Yeah, your other comment, true. Plasticity can also be used in reference to phenotypically different organisms having similar enough genotypes to hybridize. Yeah, exactly. The ability to be, something that you can differentiate is, again, in and of itself, another thing that is evolved for, right? Like the fact that our genome, the human genome, has a fused chromosome 2, like was a genetic outlier which allowed us to be genetically distinct from other apes, and which then therefore didn't allow interbreeding or hybridization between other monkeys and less apes. So like the idea was probably that, you got some fitness advantage because humans weren't able to, breed with monkeys any longer because of that, like that different types of genome. The continent split, well, would you say that humans had a speciation event when people crossed from Russia to Alaska then? No, I mean, humans haven't been around long enough that our generations isn't fast enough to really create new species. So, I mean, we have humans have, you know, um, hominids have had speciation events, but Homo sapiens are all the same species. So we just haven't in the 300,000 years that humans have existed, and the lifespan that we live, like we just haven't had the capabilities of creating a speciation event. We haven't evolved that much, which is also why the the IQ test is it's a really stupid argument. They've actually shown through genetics that human evolution hasn't been around long enough in order to come to the conclusion that IQ could have even developed in like two distinctly different bases off of race. basically. Like we haven't gone far enough at all, like in as humans, to create that evolutionary distinction to cause such a difference in IQ. It just doesn't make any sense genetics wise. You can look at the genetics and it's just nonsense. Oh, I think we are evolving. There is a selection pressure for the neurospicy folks these days. I think it's pretty well accepted that humans we're not going through Darwinian evolution anymore. Like it's just we are outside of that. So how long would it take for to them become a separate species if they continued isolation? I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Weren't certain Homo sapiens isolated for extreme periods of time? I mean, there are separate out of Africa events that happened. And then on top of that, humans um, interbred with other like Denisovans and Neanderthal species. So we haven't, no, we really haven't been isolated that long. I remember the question, if we're going to evolve and most of the theory around time travel is going. Oh, interesting. I was told that people with autism are the next step in our evolution. Autism is a natural, basically the human experience as humans are diverse in our ability to use our frontal lobe. Like from that comes a spectrum of human experiences. So as evolved as bacteria are at existing and thriving in all different types of environments, humans are as evolved at using their frontal lobe, right? So just as there's different types of bacteria, there's going to be different types of humans. It's like another way of thinking about it. Like we are as evolved, like everything that's on the earth today is as evolved as everything else, right? And what that means is that, and especially since we've spent so much resources and time, developing our frontal lobe, humans are going to have second order impacts, or we're going to, from that evolutionary deposit, right? We're going to have different ways of spending that cash, different ways that things combine. And that's what, neurological diversity comes from, is that the human experience is a reflection on that. Does that make any sense? Nice, American Imperialist. Thanks for coming in, dude. Oh, interesting. Justin asked, weren't certain Homo sapiens isolated? And Titan said, the last suspected genetic bottleneck in Homo sapiens was about 70 to 120,000 years ago, nowhere near long enough for further speciation. Yes, and that one I can specifically address. It doesn't prevent them from breeding back to, but you'll see genetic differences due to the founder effect in less than 8 generations. Oh, interesting. In college, we found areas where the hitchhiker thumb was common, and that was having 8 symmetrical nipples was fairly common. Huh, interesting. Hey, you know what I mean? I do what I can. Oh, good. All good, Graceful. Thanks for hanging out. I'm guessing I'm confused why were the ancients so much smarter than we were? What? No, no, that's not true at all, Nina. We better understand the world now than any group of humans that have ever existed, ever in the history of the world. I'm actually a physicist and an engineer. I work on satellites and I have concentrations in theoretical physics. So all this bio stuff is like Greek to me. Oh, it's sweet, Justin. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah. Well, I am a biologist brained person. So I love your having physicists in chat, and I really I respect you guys, and thanks for hanging out, dude. I appreciate you. Now let's go find a creationist and tell them what we have learned today. Just the way that we build things in their construction and how it lasted for thousands of years. Oh, I mean, but Nina, that's just that's just because they made things out of stone, and it is there are like incredible feats that you know people made, but I wouldn't say that they were smarter. I guess you're asking like what is smartness? I guess you know what I mean. Like look, I think that I really do think that like being smart is kind of a byproduct of like, are you using everything that you can at that time to do things that wouldn't be expected? Do you know what I mean? Like, are you using all of your available resources adequately to apply them in the direction of solving problems that you have, which is what a technology is, right? And like in that way, like, are anti-vaxxers as smart as the engineers that designed the pyramids? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Right? Those people are they like legitimately the engineers of the pyramids are way smarter than anti-vaxxers, even though anti-vaxxers understand more of the world that exists in the today, right? But don't tell me that the anti-vaxxer is using all available knowledge in order to, applied correctly into the world as we see it, right? That is not like like in a serious way, anti-vaxxers are like de-evolving. You know what I mean? But even there, they understand like and for real, like think about like germ theory and stuff like that. Like they have actually progressed, right? They have like gone backwards in their understanding, and it's like and it's awful. So anyway, let's let's all hang out. Guys, Alex Jones declared a war on Sneeko.
And I am sick of being run over, and everybody that's declared war on us, I'm saying, okay then.
You think I declared war on you?
And you want to declare
You think
war?
I declared war?
Israel. I don't care if you're a Muslim. I don't care if you're a Chicom. I don't care who you are.
Well,
you want to fight? You fucking got one.
Okay, so your
fucking games are over.
You can't stop me. I'm coming.
I know. Then tell me.
Coming.
I'm coming. Durka Durka Muhammad.
Allahu Akbar.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh my God, guys. Maybe we don't watch this. I was gonna watch like the full video. This guy, like, what the hell, dude? So the Alex Jones lost his show, but he has the Alex Jones show. So, but he lost his show. Oh my God. Okay, I can't. I thought I was gonna like be able to like do something, but oh my God. That is wild, dude. That's just so boring. That is wild, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Jeez. He lost his mind for real, dude. Sometimes I really hope he is method acting for real, dude. Like there's no way that that's real. There's no way that that's real, but he is, and it is real. Oh, that is so embarrassing. Man. I don't think I don't think it's steroids. I think that it's like a manic thing where he like psychosis is literally something that is he gets paid to do. You know, I think it's a really good example of audience capture. You know, audience capture in the fact that he can't not be the craziest, most on the fringe. You know, he can't have an actual civilized take on something, and it pushes him into levels of psychosis that is detrimental to his health, to the people around him, and it's I think it's sad, man. I think it's a really sad. Um, he got rich off of it once. Yeah, it's hard to convince Alex that he should shut up, and he's been drunk for 15. I mean, it not just like inebriated, but like going out of his mind for what? Like that's the wildest part. Um, dude, he got sued, but then he didn't pay any of it. You know what I mean? He didn't pay for any of that, right? Okay, let's try this.
I guess people who can lie about a genocide.
Dude, they all sell supplements, bro. They literally all sell supplements. Um, you know, it is wild to me how like vitamins and all that nonsense all get pushed by these guys, completely unfettered. And it is completely dangerous.
I guess people who can lie about a genocide feel licensed to lie even about the illegal detention and threatening of American citizens. This happened anywhere else in the world, it would be a massive international incident.
The battle between Musk and Roe.
I mean, look, I don't he's in Israel, dude. You know what I mean? He's in these space. I don't know if Ro Khanna being detained is illegal, right? The settlers are illegal, right? That the settlements are illegal. But and I guess him like who are these police forces, but like you know, I don't know. I don't know. The IDF like I guess so the settlers contained him or detained him, and then the IDF came and then let him go. Um, I don't know. It seems very weird.
Because Roe said Elon Musk is a trillionaire and I want to take his money away from him and give it to other people.
Are you sad that Senator Lindsey Graham has died? No, I'm not sad. I'm not celebrating it either. He argued
Based and true.
for wars, including this Iran war that outlives him. He never met a Middle East country he didn't want to invade. You've had amazing reviews for the book, Donald Trump, who over the weekend posted on Truth Social the book was a joke. 90% of his contents were fake news.
I remember back in 2019, I did a story that he really didn't like. They
Dude,
said to
what is this music? Man, the freaking the production is so fun. I need to do this. We just need to have like just the like Inception like music just playing in the background, just pumping through the stream. Just
me, the president has a message he wanted me to pass on to you. And I said, oh, what's that? I said, he wants you to know that you're a piece of shit.
On Friday night, Senator Lindsey Graham was speaking to Ukraine's President Zelensky in Kyiv and talking up the tough new US sanctions on Russia. The following night, he died suddenly in Washington, D.C. If nothing else, it's a moment to reflect on the fragility of life and to pay respect to a giant of US politics. But that's just not how it goes anymore. Social media and later the airways were quickly filled with outrageous, gleeful commentary about his untimely death, proving once again that there are no taboos left. The same thing is happening in the UK, where shocking news broke on.
bro, like how can he say that? Like literally Trump is absolutely gleeful when any Democrat or anyone that's opposed to him is about this. Like the idea that that Democrats have to constantly be the ones that are striving to be normal and try to, back down on all that kind of stuff. Like, why isn't a single Republican ever asked to like chill on this stuff? Like that's what I don't understand. Like, why do we have to constantly be the ones that are put out by this? What's up, paper cutout? How's it going, man?
Friday that legendary Conservative MP Anne Widdecombe had been murdered at the age of 78. In both cases, there are tasteless jokes, bitter celebrations, and wild conspiracy theories. In both cases, people have every right to feel and say whatever they like. And I have every right to feel and say that they are deplorable and classless. Many people didn't like the way that Senator Graham operated, and they didn't like his politics. He made himself one of the great DC survivors by cozying up to President Trump when it suited him, and he was also for decades one of the most ferocious hawks in politics, with claws sharpened for just about every war the US could possibly get involved in.
I don't understand, and I can never understand someone that is just so pro-war. You know what I mean? Like, how could you not just say I don't understand it. Yeah, I do. I do, Malanon. Yeah, we have a Discord.
Most recently, he was one of the loudest cheerleaders for the disastrous Iran war, which is now raging all over again, as we will discuss. There's a time and a place to debate his ideas and his legacy, and there's a respectful way of doing so. Celebrating his death is not that. And I said exactly the same thing when President Trump jumped on the graves of Robert Mueller and Rob Reiner. When tragedy strikes, remember the words you were taught when you were 4 years old. If you've got nothing nice to say, well, just shut up. Well, Mehdi Hasan and Hogan Gidley are standing by, but we begin with a man who's made a lot of headlines this weekend, Democratic Congressman for California, Ro Khanna. Congressman Khanna, welcome to Uncensored again. You hit the news because you were detained, you said, in the West Bank in Israel for 90 minutes by armed.
It's simple. The left and right are all about self-profit. Like, Keith, how could you say that? Like, what president has made $2 billion in a year in self-profit? Like, how can you just say words? I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense.
Israeli settlers during a visit there last week. You posted on X, Israeli settlers brandishing American-made M4s detained me and other Americans on my trip to Palestine. When the IDF arrived, they sided with the settlers and continued our detention. They made a huge mistake. Now, you were visiting a small Palestinian village that was abandoned after escalating attacks from settlers and then demolished. You were eventually allowed to continue your journey, but this has created a huge firestorm, obviously. A spokesman for the Israeli military said it received a report of Israeli civilians unlawfully blocking the vehicles of foreign nationals and members of the news media near the village. Troops were dispatched to reopen the road. The spokesman said the military disputed its soldiers had participated in blocking the exit and said the identity of the armed civilian was being reviewed. And when Benjamin Netanyahu was asked about this, he said this.
We're a country of laws, and people who break the law, we take them to court. In the West Bank, in Judea and Samaria, we've had thousands of attempted attacks and warnings against terrorist activities, against innocent Israelis, families, mother with their children driving along the road. They're stopped by terrorists and they kill them. And this has happened again and again and again. There is a vigilante effort, not by the settler community. They're 99.9%, law-abiding citizens.
They're literally illegal. The settlers themselves are illegal. Like, how does that make any sense? Like, these are law-abiding settlers. The settlements are illegal, bro. Like, what are you talking about? All presidents leave extremely wealthy. What are you talking about? That's the purpose of the two-party system. Dude, John, wow. That is just wildly inaccurate. That is wild to me that people can actually believe this. In the year of my Lord, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, 2026. Like, that is wild to me. Like, you think that anyone else is even remotely corrupt, and as it's like how could you even say that? And you're talking about 1993? What do you what he left with $10 million? Oh, $10 million? Whoa. Like, what is the ridiculous. Tell me the president that leaves poor, then he became president. Well, obviously, as president of the United States, you're going to have like access to things, but that doesn't mean that you're corrupt in that, right? I think like Jimmy Carter, and honestly, I think Biden was like the poorest president. What are the net worths? Are the net worths of USA presidents when they enter and leave office? Any POTUS that have lost money? I mean, by the way, Trump, you know what's funny is that Trump supporters say that Trump actually left losing money after the Trump term. So, like Trump supporters say that Trump lost money in the first Trump term, which isn't true, but it is funny that they say that. Dude, you guys are wild, dude. Like the amount that people are, it's so crazy. It's so wild. Seriously, every politician in Congress on both sides are rich. You're not that naive, are you? Dude, you guys are out of touch, man. You guys are completely out of touch. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Presidents who demonstratedly lost money, well documented. Thomas Jefferson died July 4th, 1826, roughly $107,000 in debt, inherited debt from his father-in-law, lived beyond his means, and ran an unprofitable plantation. Monticello and the enslaved people held there had to be liquidated. So there you go. Look at all these people that lost money. Like the whole idea of the presidency was just to make money. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 examples of these guys that all lost money. Crazy. It's almost like you have no idea what you're talking about. Wow. Here we go. Here's the modern example. Jimmy Carter placed his peanut business in a blind trust. It was reportedly around $1 million in debt when he left office in 1981. He then pioneered the modern book and speaking post-presidency model. So he literally had to go on a book and speaking tour in order to get out of his $1 million in debt. Like, wild, man. Like, you guys just have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, here we go. Donald Trump, first term, 2017 to 2020. This is the only well-tracked modern case of net worth falling while in office, and it is real. Wow. I thought it's a conspiracy, but it's not. Forbes put him nearly in 3.5 billion entering in, which is complete fabrication. He was not 3.5 billion. And reported a fall to roughly 2.4 billion by spring of 2021, a decline of about a third. Bloomberg's index put him at roughly 2.33 in March 2021. The drives were pandemic damages to hotels, office towers, and golf resorts, plus render withdrawal January 6th. Wild. You just have no idea what you're talking about. Like, it's embarrassing. Like, it's just embarrassing how easy it is to fact check people. You know what I mean? How easy it is to just like to just demonstrate. People have no idea.
I don't want vigilantes of any kind, and we are working to put them under the law. But I think if we put things in perspective, we should see that we have thousands of attacks and some few, but obvious breaking of the law. Then we apply the full measure of the law against them.
Now, what's interesting about this is that Haaretz, which is one of the big newspapers over there, wrote an editorial on the incident.
How am I fact check? How am I coping? What are you talking about? I just dog walked you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how I'm literally looking up what you're talking about, and you obviously are wrong. Like, I don't. What do you want me to tell you, man? Do you want me to lie? Make you feel better?
in which it was entitled Ro Khanna.
John, you know I do have a job, and it's ridiculous that you keep talking about this. I did not mention Bill Clinton. You mentioned Bill Clinton. John, you know that I'm currently heavily employed by your mom, making her the happiest woman every single night when I ravage her. And your dad pays me to watch. So, you know, it's just ridiculous to say that I'm not currently employed. You know, that's just wrong.
I got the VIP version of what West Bank Palestinians face every day. And certainly there have been myriad reports of appalling behavior by Israeli settlers against Palestinians, very aggressive expansion of settlements, and repeated evidence in these reports of the IDF siding with the settlers, even when they appear to be committing crimes. So, you know, Haaretz is not wrong
That's
here
too
by categorizing this as being...
We're not cruising life. We're not going into that. We're not going into that. Aw. You're the perfect example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Thank you. Thank you. Aw. Oh, that's mature. I love that. I love that.
You, as an American over there, obviously encountering what Palestinians get.
Was that
all
an
the time.
option? That's
So,
not.
a long-winded intro. My apologies for that. But Ro Khanna, your response in
No,
particular...
see, you're cope laughing. You called me cope laughing, but you're actually cope laughing right now. Yeah.
To what Netanyahu said there.
I know, actually, yeah. You know what? I just want to say, so I'm actually, I want to be on the, I do want to be on the right side of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Isn't that the right side of the Dunning-Kruger effect is the expert side. So I think I'm okay. I am okay. Thank you. Thank you, Keith. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate your laying out all the facts. I am just stunned that Americans are detained by vigilantes. A foreign government cooperates with those vigilantes, and the American factual account is being disputed. I don't understand it. I mean, there was a New York Times photographer there. It's not just my testimony. It is the testimony of Israelis who were with me. It is the testimony of security forces. It was written up in detail in Reuters and the New York Times. And the prime minister is denying what happened. His ambassador is denying what happened. I guess people who can lie.
I mean, there are 3 different governmental bodies like that are in the West Bank. So I mean, you saw in the Channel 5, if you watched the video, like going through the West Bank is like a ton of security talks, like a bunch of security checkpoints and stuff. If he legitimately didn't go through some of them, I could definitely see one of the people not knowing who he is and detaining him. You know, I think that could be like a legitimate thing. And we don't know enough details, I think.
About a genocide, feel licensed to lie even about the illegal detention and threatening of American citizens. But what is outrageous is if this happened anywhere else in the world, it would be a massive international incident, and it would require the government to immediately arrest the people who did this and to investigate the soldiers who did this.
Bro, why are you coping still? You are coping so hard the fact about $10 million when Trump has made $2,000 million in 1 year, and you don't give a shit about that. But you're seriously crying in TikTok chat that Bill Clinton made $10 million in 4 years, and you don't give a shit about Trump making 200 times more than that. This is MAGA brain rot, dude. This is the fact that a single Democrat has made a single dollar in the presidency or while president, and not necessarily off being president himself like Trump is. Trump is making money and making deals because he's president and having money given to him specifically because he is president. Trump coin wouldn't have been a thing if it wasn't for him being the president. And the cope of, oh, yeah, someone's net worth went up. Someone's net worth went up, so therefore Democrats are just as corrupt. Like, how is that possible, bro? Like, how, like, it's wild, man.
You know, a lot of your critics, as you know, because they've come racing out to criticize you, the Israeli ambassador to the US, Dr. Michael Leiter, said you mischaracterized it. He accused you of visiting the West Bank as a political stunt to distract from your past.
Well, I mean, it was. I mean, let's be real. Like, he literally, Rokana really is, it is a political stunt, right? I mean, he is trying to, like, he's kind of baiting them, right?
Report of Graham Plattner, the former Maine US Senate candidate accused of sexual assault, and to promote your own presidential run for the White House in 2028. What do you say to that?
Well, he didn't describe any of my 3 previous visits to Israel as political stunts. What bothers them is that I said I wanted to have a Palestinian-led tour through the West Bank.
So you were wrong and you're okay with presidents making money. Yeah, John, you don't understand, like, like an increase in net worth isn't personal profiting based off of their position in power. Like, you don't understand how money works. You don't understand, like Trump is specifically making money off of the presidency because he's using the presidency as advertisement in marketing. Like, Bill Clinton wasn't personally profiting off of the things that he had. His net worth probably just went up as the .com economy went up. So, like, you just don't understand how investments work, bro.
And I informed the Israeli government that I was going. Obviously, I got through the airport. They helped me get back home. But what bothers them is that I said I was going to visit Palestine from a Palestinian perspective.
Am I doing Clinton's mom too? Only yours, John. Only yours.
And it's not just about me. They don't want other American politicians to do that. Just today, Piers, there was body camera footage released about this whole incident, which shows that the IDFs were siding with the settlers. And so the ambassador is on national television just lying. Now, their hope is that America just moves on and they can obfuscate the facts.
Oh, they're both dead? Oh, you have 2 moms, John? Dude, that's sick, dude. I love that. I'm actually really happy for you. I'm happy that you had 2 moms. That's cool, dude. I'm happy for you, John.
They're really risking the anger of a lot of people in America because this was how they treated American passport holders.
And what is extraordinary is it comes against a backdrop of Israel getting more and more unpopular globally, but especially in the United States, with nearly 2/3 of US adults now having a negative view of Israel, which is significantly up year on year. I've repeatedly called out members of the Israeli government like Smotrich and Ben-Gvir in particular, whose rhetoric and action,
insane,
and in particular actually involving the aggressive expansion of settlements on the West Bank and the IDF complicity in that. These guys, they don't seem to care about how unpopular they make Israel if they can have license to achieve their bigger plan, which appears to be expelling all the Palestinians out of Gaza, out of the West Bank, getting rid of maybe up to 1 million people out of southern Lebanon as well now, that they have a grand plan here and they don't really care about global opprobrium for it.
Exactly, dude. They want Monte Carlo on the on the sea, right? Like, they literally want to make a profit off of it. They want to make money. Trump wants to literally put hotels and casinos there that are probably Trump branded and that are, his way of making money off of the genocide that's happening. And the same people in chat that are sitting there making excuses for Trump making billions of dollars in profit are the same people that are going to go in chat and be like, well, I mean, if Trump did put a hotel there, then obviously it should be like a Trump hotel, and that actually makes sense. And these same people are going to come into chat and make all these excuses for why it's okay and why you think that it's a great thing that they're actually Trumps, and if he's president, while he owns a hotel business, so that why wouldn't wouldn't he make money? That's the wildest part about all this stuff. And then they'll say, "Yeah, but, Nancy Pelosi made money too." It's just, like, just absolute brain rot. Absolute brain rot.
You're absolutely right. It's just the utter arrogance of power. Here's what would happen in a normal situation. Let's say this happened to me in Saudi Arabia or China, not necessarily.
It is way worse than the businesses at this point. I mean, most of the money is coming from the Trump crypto thing. The $2 million the 2 billion, excuse me. Sorry, $2,000 million. That we should like talk about money so that people can understand it. $2,000 million in the first year that Trump made. 1,500 million of that is from Trump coins specifically. And of that money, it was specifically because he rug pulled and he made money off of the same guys that are in chat. These same people that are defending Trump are the same people that bought that money and just donated money to him.
Always aligned with the United States. You would have the head of state or some cabinet member come out and say, we absolutely condemn what happened to Congressman Khanna and the other Americans. We will make sure that we take prosecutorial action against the vigilantes who did this, and we will have an internal investigation. This is not how we do business, and we're sorry that this happened to Americans. And if they did that, it would be a one-day story. But the fact that they are...
But dude, I mean, come on, bro. Like if you went to China or something and you're just going through Trump, trying to look at the Uyghur encampments or something like that. And like China like detains you. You have Chinese police that are detaining you. Do you really think it's going to be an international like event that people are going to be really mad about? I mean, if you were imprisoned for life or something, then you get like a president to come out and like get you out of prison. Basically, that's how we normally do it. But I mean, like you can't just because you're a congressman go in any country anywhere that you want and not expect like some type of pushback. I mean you can't even do that right now in the United States. You couldn't even go up to one of these DHS freaking prisons that they've created. You can't even go there and see what's happening inside of there. So like it's just kind of weird,
calling
man.
into question my credibility, calling into credibility the New York Times photographer, the New York Times journalist, the Israeli citizens who were testifying to this, denying that there was anything wrong. It just shows how arrogant they are to deny things that people are seeing with their own eyes on video.
What do you make as a high-profile American politician of some of the more vicious commentary about the death of Lindsey Graham, who, I had a lot of issues with some of his stances, not least on the war in Iran, for example, and other wars. He was big on war. But I interviewed him a number of times. I once interviewed him with John McCain and Joe Lieberman, the three amigos, all together, actually. I went down to the Senate and did them there for CNN. It was an amazing experience. And he also did a lot of bipartisan work, crossing the aisle and making things happen with Democrats. So there was
With
a lot
Russia?
of good
What is it?
in him, as well as things I didn't agree with. But this...
I mean, he did. I mean, the biggest thing that I remember him for in terms of that recently, we're talking about and defending Biden, like, because there are all these, like, talking about how Biden was a communist and like how he's like a secret agent or whatever. And he came out saying that like Biden is like a decent man. And he defended him in the January 6th speech that we watched last night too, where it's like he's legitimately knows him, that he can like talk to his character witness. Kind of like reminds me of that time where John McCain spoke up for Obama and said that like he's a good Christian man and he's a family man. We disagree, but we can, we're all Americans kind of thing. It does like harken back to an old, I don't know. I don't know if it was like, it seems like fake like pleasantry politics, at the same time, like old guys club kind of stuff, because they are so hostile and toxic to like women being in these spaces, right? to create this like patriarchal like system of the Senate and stuff. It's just I don't know. It also like the way that the Senate used to work where they all came together and like, jokes about shit and stuff. It's like it seems very fake as well. Do you know what I mean?
Place we've got to as a society. And we're seeing the same here in the UK after the death of Anne Widdecombe, a famous Conservative member of Parliament here. The glee that some people seem to want to express in the immediate aftermath of a human being's death. And we've seen it, as I said in the intro, from Donald Trump towards people like Rob Reiner and Robert Mueller and people like this. I don't like that either. What do you feel about this? What should we do about this as a society?
Bro, I'm just going to tell you, MAGA, I am telling you, prepare yourself for the natural demise of Donald Trump and the worldwide global celebration that will happen for months afterwards. There is nobody more despised in the world, and there is nobody that they will absolutely be global celebrations, fireworks maybe, legitimately, in celebration of this. It might actually become a global event of like coming together and healing, based off of it. Like MAGA is so isolated and so hated globally that I genuinely don't think that they're prepared. They are just not prepared for how big the celebration is going to be when Trump dies naturally in his sleep. It's just prepare yourself. It's actually going to be Freedom 250. Exactly, Helen. He'll finally get his crowd size that he wants. He'll finally get his crowd size.
I actually agreed with your monologue, your introduction, that if you don't have something nice to say about someone who has passed, you can keep your mouth shut at that time. I mean, look.
Trump is going to die in office? Probably, John. I don't think that he's going to leave. I don't think that he leaves. Like I've said this entire time, Trump does not rule and the Republican Party does not act as if any Democrat will ever get the powers of the presidency that Trump has currently. So I think that there's no way that he leaves office. I don't think that that's the case. He'll declare martial law. He will say that the elections don't matter, that he already is picking and choosing which constitutional amendments he thinks are capable of being enforced. So why not the term limit? He doesn't agree with it. And then SCOTUS and, will come out and be like, wow, actually, yeah, he has a good point that, yeah, it doesn't apply to him. It was weird that he found this loophole. It was there the entire time. We didn't know about it, but it's okay for him. I guarantee you that that's how it's going to happen.
Lindsey Graham and I had very different views on foreign policy, but he's someone who wore the nation's uniform. He served in the Air Force. He questioned his own party on immigration, saying that there should be a path to citizenship. He would engage in debate. And it's not just being uncivil. It shows that in our country, we're no longer to see the humanity in any way of people who have any different view, that we are so wedded that we have a monopoly on the truth. The essence of liberalism is to have a humility that you may not have the whole truth, that in a country of 330 million, maybe you should have some sense of listening to other people and having debate. And so there's something really wrong with our political culture that we can't have a decency when someone passes away who we...
Oh my God, but who is saying that, guys? Who is saying that nobody is right except for me? Trump. Like he literally vilifies Democrats. Again, all the things that he is saying here, Rokan is saying here, it is MAGA that creates and takes this stance and that creates the toxicity in American politics. Like we know this. We literally see this. It wasn't different 11 years ago, and then something magically happened, and guess what? Here we are. Like, why, like, we don't need to just, lie to ourselves, right? We don't need to lie to everyone. the toxicity is MAGA, and it always is the Democrats, the onus for the Democrats to come back to the center and, try to come back to get them involved more, like every single time.
Strongly disagree with.
You had a run-in also with Elon Musk. He threatened to sue you after you accused him of possibly sentencing 4.5 million children to death with the cuts to the US Agency for International Development. You said in a podcast last month, they're celebrating that he created 4,500 millionaires, but they don't talk about the 4.5 million children around the world who he possibly sentenced to death by dismantling USAID. He responded by calling you a liar and a robber, while also accusing you of insider stock trading. Time to sue.
Could you imagine? Can you imagine being Elon Musk and blaming and saying that someone else is using institutional corruption in order to make money? Could you the gall to say stuff like that? Like what in the world, man?
This liar, Musk wrote. You responded to that by pointing to a 2025 study that determined that without access to USAID resources and funding, 14 million people in lower middle income countries could die by 2030, including more than 4.5 million children under the age of 5. You also said, Elon, I thought you were a free speech guy. Why not debate me on these issues instead of threatening lawfare? Has he actually gone through with suing you or not?
He hasn't. I was a bit surprised.
He has?
A trillionaire,
What?
the richest person in the world, and you're obsessing about a statement I made. And it obviously got under his skin because the cuts that he did to Doge had real-world consequences. And I cited 2 academic studies, the Lancet study and Adil Gawande study, saying that
he hasn't actually. Okay, so if he has actually done that, you would actually have a lawsuit that is being threatened. So Rokan had said that he has, but he's threatened. He hasn't actually sued him, which is I don't like that he just lied about that just now. That's a little frustrating, but okay. Elon is a big baby. He is. Yeah, he is.
that when he cut food and medicine from some of the poorest people,
Yeah.
that potentially could have led to deaths. And it's surprising to me that he threatened a lawsuit because, he claims he's all for free speech. But I'm happy to debate him or the ideas on their merit. And I wish he would do that.
Just finally, there's, as we've been talking, a post from Donald Trump on his Truth Social platform saying the Hormuz Strait is open and will remain open, with or without Iran. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it's only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving.
Who takes it seriously when he says anything?
Fair and open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. But as such, in a matter of fairness, we will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this very
What is he doing? He's just fabricating some tax now that we get. Like it's so wild to me that Trump supporters see this and they think that that's done. That's what it is. That's what the reality is. The dude is called this open and closed. It's gone back and forth 20 different times, 30 different times. Like legitimately, Trump might get a Nobel Prize, Peace Prize, based off of how many wars he's stopped. He's stopped the Iran war probably 30, 40 times. It's incredible. He starts them. He also might get the award for most wars ever started, but here it is.
The process of formation will begin immediately. There's a very competing narrative here because the Iranians appear to be exercising control over the strait and appear to have shut it down again. Donald Trump is adamant that it is open and will remain open, but just in the way that the Iranians are charging a toll and want to have a toll process for ships going through there safely with their backing, Trump is now saying he wants 20% of all value of all cargo shipped to provide security for ships going through. Does any of this make sense to you?
You know, the greatest tragedy with Donald Trump is he didn't listen to Winston Churchill's basic advice that to be a statesperson, you had to read history. And had Donald Trump read any history about what happened with Mossadegh and the overthrow of Mossadegh in 1953, because Mossadegh wanted to nationalize Iranian oil, and how the cardinal sin of the overthrow of Mossadegh has destabilized the region, he would never make a statement that the United States somehow wants to take over the Strait of Hormuz and engage in a kind of gunboat diplomacy. He would instead be working with the international community to make sure that we had the denuclearization of Iran, some kind of agreement, and not provoking them by threatening to conquer the Strait of Hormuz or take over the Strait of Hormuz. It is its illiteracy of world history and American history that, in my view, is his actually greatest weakness.
I mean, bro, he's willfully ignorant. He's not just like not read, but he's willfully ignorant of history because he doesn't think that any type of like historical lens should be applied to him. I mean, this is why they call the J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and these kind of people called academia the intellectual deep state, because they get weighed down and they have to answer for things like ethics, and it's so gross. They don't want to be chained down by these pesky things anymore, right? The Trump is the same way. Dude, so the Strait of Hormuz traffic falls to the lowest point in a month after the strikes. So it says here, data may not include all activity because some vessels have turned off tracking capabilities during the war. So, I mean, but it's low. It's the lowest in a month. So, I mean, again, like, what? Like, what is this?
Finally, on Sunday, you said you regretted endorsing the former Maine Senate candidate, Graham Plattner, who's now dropped out of a Senate race after an ex-girlfriend came forward and alleged he sexually assaulted her. He's denied those allegations but has dropped out. You said you got the call wrong. I endorse a lot of people, but when I make a mistake, I take accountability. You were criticized for...
Please don't blame Mossad or Israel, Rokana. Please don't do that.
Endorsing him even after a photograph emerged of Plattner with a tattoo on his chest that resembled a Nazi symbol, and there was already backlash over online remarks about survivors of sexual assault and so on, after other girlfriends had claimed he was aggressive towards them. I guess my question to you would be, when it comes to these kind of things, the feeling that people get is that politicians get very tribal, that if the situation had been reversed and this was a Republican candidate, you'd have been straight out the traps, along with a lot of Democrats saying, this is disgusting, he's got to stand down and so on, much quicker than you distanced yourself from Plattner because he was on your side. What do you say to people that feel that?
Fair. First of all, I think that's a fair criticism, and I appreciate you giving this the appropriate attention. In some other interviews, it becomes half the questions as opposed to one question of many things in the world. But look, do politicians give the benefit of the doubt to their own side? Yes. Do I need to be more sensitive to the biases we bring? Yes. Should we think about how we treat the imperfections of our opponents and people on the other side with far less forgiveness than we do our own side? Yes. And that's what I said when I said I made a mistake, that I should have seen the signs earlier, and I probably should reflect more about this bias that we have in politics and why I owned up to the mistake of getting this call wrong.
Dude, it's like, yeah, like I said, when the first allegations came out, it's pretty obvious, dude. I mean, I bought Kelshi odds on Susan Collins winning the Senate seat that day. I was like, this is dead in the water. Like, there's no way. There's no way he's gonna do it. I'm so sick of like every single male politician like having some like weird sexual skeleton in their closet that we have to kind of like manage and just it's gonna come out eventually. I'm so sick of it. I am so like, and it's only men. Like name a single woman politician that has lured sexual scandals that brought down her presidency or her campaign or anything like that. Like, come on, dude. It's just I'm so sick of these guys.
Well, that might be one of the most honest things a politician has said to me in the entire time I've done this show. So I appreciate that.
And what else is he gonna say though? I mean, what else is he gonna say? You know?
Rokana, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Summer is almost upon us, and if you're not completely satisfied with your beach body, my condolences. Well, joining me now to debate all this is Mehdi Hassan, founder of Zateo, and Hogan Gidley.
I was hoping that Janet Mills would get the endorsements that previously given to Plattner. Yeah, Michael, I'm actually surprised that she hasn't gotten more traction, but again, like she is elderly. She got a really low amount in the polls. It's pretty shocking, to be honest with you. I mean, to lose by 60 points is pretty weird. And again, it's again lining up a lot like Biden, where whoever takes it is going to they're never going to be a perfect candidate, and whoever it's going to be, like people are like, if Democrats don't win, people are just going to blame Mossad and Israel. Like, let's just be real. Like that's what this all thing, everyone, we can see that coming. That's what this whole thing is about, So it's so tiring. Every single malady or bad thing that happens in the world, it all comes down to that, every single time. The week-long primary that's going to happen is going to be, I mean, who knows what's going to happen there. I mean, I'm so happy that we didn't do that for the presidency in 2024. I mean, that would have been an absolute shit show. I'm really happy that we didn't do that, but we'll have to see. I'm sure there are some women out there. Like, what? Name one. The fact that we can't name a single one, but we have dozens in the United States. Like, come on, dude. Like, that doesn't make any sense, man. Yeah, exactly, Heather. Exactly. Yeah, Kamala. Didn't Kamala sleep her way to the top? Like, exactly, dude. It's just a joke. It's just such a joke.
The former White House Deputy Press Secretary.
Look at this guy. This guy, again, good tie. I love this. I love this tie.
This is Mehdi Hassan, founder of Zateo, and Hogan Gidley, the former White.
Okay, guys. First.
Well, joining me now to debate all this is Mehdi Hassan, founder of Zateo.
Dude, undo this button. It doesn't look good. Undo this button. That's good. You got to be confident. Look at Pierce. Chad. Look at that Chad, how his collar is resting and it's high like this. See how it's standing up high? And it's because he didn't button that. He didn't button this. See, he's doing this here. Chest out. Confident. Looks good. It makes your collars stand up straight. Looks good. Okay.
This is Mehdi Hassan, founder of
right.
Zateo, and
this looks. I mean, he needs to just unbutton that. This looks weird. This foreign hands knot. It's not that cringe double Windsor. It's not a single Windsor. Simple foreign hands. If anything, he could have gone a little bit thicker here. He could have because this is a full spread collar. Like then he actually, this is actually a collar that's meant for a bow tie. So it does he could have gone with a thicker thing here. It's kind of a statement not to go, but at least he didn't do like a skinny tie, which is so cringe. And that's like what RFK Jr. does. He does the full spread with the skinny tie. I mean, the hairstyle, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Deputy Press Secretary. Mehdi, that was.
I think we can criticize people for clothing style with guys, but immutable characteristics, I think we stay off of those. You know what I mean?
That was quite something to hear a politician just say, yeah, I was biased, I was partisan, my thinking about this, my judgment.
Never wear a skinny tie, guys. Never wear a skinny tie. Unless you are like legitimately thin and you're trying to accentuate your thinness, do not wear a skinny tie. It never looks good. It really never does look good.
Judgment was skewed, effectively, what he was saying, by the fact this was a Democrat who was involved in a scandal, and that he would have felt differently if it had been a Republican, and he's got to think about that. I always like it when a politician shows self-awareness, a bit of brutal honesty, and tells us what we're all pretty much thinking anyway.
I mean, the real question is like, would you have done the same for some sexual impropriety with women? It's not like whether or not it's Republican or Democrat. The question is that in any type of, impropriety, would it have been the same for, someone like that? And it just wouldn't have been, right? Women face they're much more strict under the microscope. Everything has to be correct. Everything has to be perfect. And that's the disparity. Like men can literally be like have wretched pasts in terms of that, like non-consensual stuff, and people like Trump still vote for them, right? Which is just, but the bar for women is impossibly high, right? Impossibly
I agree with
high.
you. And I think Ro Khanna has won over a lot of admirers because that is the approach he takes to politics. He's quite honest. He tries to be transparent. Excuse me, I've lost my voice after shouting at the screen on Saturday after the game. So
do you know what? There are millions of people around the world, Mehdi-Hassan, absolutely jubilant, not at the result on Saturday, but the fact you've lost your voice.
Not quite. I'll get it back. I'll get it back for this discussion.
Including Hogan Gidley.
And for Wednesday's game, of course. It'll be back for Wednesday and then gone again Thursday. But I think, look, Ro Khanna has been admired by a lot of people for doing that. He goes into a lot of spaces that other politicians don't go into. He's obviously running for president in 2028. He's a guy who goes on Fox and talks to Republican audiences. In fact, funnily enough, Piers, you mentioned Elon Musk threatening to sue him. I pointed out to Musk, I tweeted at Musk, which of course he ignores me, that Musk used to be a big fan of Ro Khanna. He used to praise Ro Khanna as a guy who could reach across the aisle. Now he hates him because Ro Khanna called him out.
I mean, doesn't Ro Khanna, isn't his district Silicon Valley? I'm pretty sure it's literally like Silicon Valley. Yeah, which is located near the heart of Silicon Valley. Yeah, of course. So Ro Khanna kind of is the tech boy.
That is true. Hogan Gidley, welcome back to Uncensored. Just in response to this breaking news from Donald Trump about...
It's California 17th. Yeah, oh my gosh, look at this. So it's not on it, like Palo Alto and this kind of area is where it normally is, but we're close. We like maps here, people. Maps are good, all right? We like maps. Santa Clara, the type of area.
Almost straight, because it seems to me, you know President Trump better than most. It seems to me he's got himself into an unholy mess with this Iran war. If he could get out of it cleanly tomorrow in a way that didn't look like an abject failure, he would. But it's impossible to do that. And the Iranians are continuing to exercise control of this strait. And as long as they have that, it's hard to listen to what Donald Trump says about the Americans now running it, keeping it open, charging 20% on all cargo ships. That all sounds great, but the evidence seems to suggest that it's just not actually what's happening.
Yeah.
The evidence seems to suggest the Iranians have control of this strait.
Before I get to that, man, make a comment about Roe, since I'm up at the House of Representatives all the time. He is clearly running for president of the United States. His measured tone.
No shit, dude. No shit. Why is this news? Yes. Why would you? What a weird meta conversation.
Tone is one that he's trying to bring into the party and say, look at me, I can be conciliatory, but also I'm a fighter. But the battle between Musk and Ro Khanna is because Ro said Elon Musk is a trillionaire and I want to take his money away from him and give it to other people. What
Yeah.
Roe doesn't say is that
You
he
should.
has hundreds of millions of dollars himself. And if we're going to get into the business.
Wait. This is my problem. This is my problem, guys. This guy's really comparing hundreds of millions of dollars to $1 trillion. Again, this is the scale problem. Like, you don't understand hundreds of millions of dollars versus it. What's the difference between $100 million and $1 trillion, guys? $1 trillion. That's the difference. Is the entirety of the trillion. It's like that oh my gosh, guys. Orders of magnitude. Yeah, exactly. So it's just, give me a break, man. All Americans should be taxed at 70%? What? No, John. No. You should have we should have a wealth tax over 50 million, and we should have the top marginal rate of like over $1 million at 90%. Yeah, exactly. So is that exactly. So is that 10 million millions? A trillion? Is that 10 million millions? Everyone feels the same. I mean, if you wanted to do that, John, and you would have like massive, like 70% tax on everyone, like okay, but then you would have a lot more services. Like we can do that. I mean, let's check this out. Let's check it out. Let's check your idea out. Okay, so let's say we have simecon.app. Like, okay, let's create income tax. Okay, so here we go. We are $2 trillion in debt right now. Okay. Let's say let's do the Eisenhower model, right? 91%. Look at that. We got $1 trillion in extra revenue because of that. Okay. So the income rate of 231 to 578 from 35 to 50, and then the rate of everything over 578 is up to 37 to 91. Okay, that's an extra $1 trillion. Let's see what we get by doing what you're talking about. Okay, cool. All right, boom. Let's add it all to $1 trillion. Let's do it all to $1 trillion. Okay, we've balanced the budget. It's good. Awesome. Okay, cool. Now we have $4 trillion in extra surplus. Okay. What are you going to do with that $4 trillion now? That's the question, right? What are you going to do with that $4 trillion? Right? If we're doing that, we're going to be doing capital gains tax. We don't even have to touch the other taxes. Right? But we can do a carbon tax. We can do a federal land value tax, a tax on wealth, for sure. Tax on wealth, 50 million, another 5%. Tax on borrowed against stocks, right? 37%. Match it to capital gains, right? Financial transaction tax, billionaire minimum tax, stock buyback tax, closed carry loophole tax. Okay, we're dealing with 5.5 trillion in surplus. It's good. Sin tax, automation tax, sugar tax, federal betting tax, cannabis tax. Okay, sweet. All right, so what do we have now? We're making a lot of money. We're making a lot of money now, right? So now you can do things like, you can absolutely do federal jobs guarantee, infrastructure, research and development, moonshot, green, Job Corps, and oh, by the way, if we didn't do that and we just made 70%, wait, you said 70% taxes on everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. I put 90. I'm sorry. Let's test your model. 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70. Okay. So we have a surplus of 4.2. So we went from a deficit of 2 trillion to a surplus of 4.6, which means that we pay everything off by 2030. Basically, 2030 means that 2030 means that we would be debt free. 2032. So, okay. So now we can add these other taxes in, right? I mean, you can basically pay for everything, right? If you cut the defense budget, right? You cut it, you have kids, now you spend it on the kids, permanent child tax credit, free public college, free universal pre-K, universal free schooling, baby bonds. You can also universal health care, 100% phased in universal health care, paid family medical leave, universal child care, federal mental health corps. And then you could have green jobs, federal jobs guarantee, infrastructure modeling, research and development moonshot, green jobs core. And you're still paying things off really, pretty quick. You have a surplus of $2 trillion and it's at 36. So it'd be like 18 years in order to actually like pay things off. I mean, you can do something like this, but you just have to get and use that money in order to get services out of people, right? Like so that, and this is where it all comes from. So you have individual income tax is where your money's coming from. And it's a bunch of new policy programs, right? So who pays? So basically for the bottom 50%, you get about $5,000 a year in benefits. Right? You can get about $5,000 in benefits out of that. Even with taxing everyone at 70%. Like I think that there is a good look, I think for PR and marketing and stuff like that, saying that hey, everyone pays the same taxes kind of removes the whole idea of like billionaires saying that they are this they're oh my gosh, it's so hard to be a billionaire, like we're taxed so much. You can literally say I pay more tax, pay just as many taxes as you do. Which is I think that incentivizes us to actually have more federal programs. I think that that's fine. Affordable housing, federal public internet, and then like you really go into the thing of like, okay, so what's a federal, like let's start universal basic income. That's basically the only thing that you can go now, right? So with that $2.4 trillion, you can have a universal basic income of about, let's say, $1 trillion surplus. Let's see. So you would have a surplus. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. So let's see how much $50. $500 a month. So $500 a month, universal basic income. So let's see how it changes again. So now, with all the programs, if we did tax everyone at 70%, a flat 70% tax, you get about $10,000 a person if you're in the bottom 50% of it. If you're in the middle class, you're making around $3,700 more a person. But if you are the top 1%, it's $1 million a year more that you're paying. It's 37% for the top 90%. So like it is a way to do it. You know what I mean? That's why I made this calculator so that you can actually test different economic models and you can actually try it out, So, and I do think like a broad-based taxes like does make sense, but then you better have universal income, right? You better have universal basic income. You better have a universal jobs guarantee. You better have a lot of different other ways of getting that money back. Like that's the only way to do it, right? And we didn't even touch any of these other taxes, the corporate income tax, the capital gains tax, the estate tax. Value added tax. This is honestly a good idea. This is value added tax is tough because it's like it is very broad, right? It's very broad. Everyone pays that. Federal land value tax is usually a pretty good like middle ground because you're just taxing empty lots. So it's just like undeveloped land. So I mean, yeah. I mean, it is possible. It is possible. We're playing on simecon.net. Simecon.net. Sorry, it's not app. Simecon.app. This is an app that I developed based off of SimCity and just trying to figure out how I'm curious. I was always curious like how the what are these numbers actually, right? What are these numbers actually do? What is it actually? Can we like play around with it? Does the debt that we have $36 trillion, does it actually mean that much? And it really doesn't, guys. That's the craziest thing. After playing with this thing, the $36 trillion in debt is really not that much. It really isn't. That's the wildest part. It's really just a choice that we have. But that's what we do. That's what we'll do here. Okay, let's finish this.
Business of saying, I want that person's money and I'm going to take it from them and then give it to somebody else. I choose myself as the recipient of Ro Khanna's money, and I want big pieces of that for me. That's why it's mad.
But that wasn't actually the point of contention between them. The point of contention between them focused on the cuts that were made by Doge to USAID and the potential.
Jorge, nice to see you, brother. How's it going, man?
And Elon Musk's money
and the potential impact, though, of those cuts on the lives of children in particular, which have been well reported. Now, Elon may want to contest those, but they are widely reported that one of the consequences could be a lot of people dying, including children.
He should engage because I'd like to see a report that says it's the United States' responsibility and or reason or rationale of existing to pay for everybody else around the world when we have our own problem right here at home. That's really probably part and parcel of the with the larger argument, which is it's a difference in where the money should go and where it should be spent on. The Republicans writ large want that money spent here in America. Democrats want it spent all over the world to fund all kinds of crazy projects. And so that's the real debate.
Can you imagine saying that? Like the Republican part, like Trump is literally spending billions of dollars right now in Venezuela and Iran every single day. And this guy literally is coming on and saying that it's the Democrats that are spending our money globally. Democrats wanted to spend $400 billion on economic development in the United States. Like, what? Trump wants to spend $300 billion a year in Iran. Like, come on, man.
Maybe you want to respond to that?
Can I respond on that specific point? Hogan's right. Of course, it's not America's responsibility to feed and provide aid to everyone in the world. That's not the debate. The debate is, should Elon Musk have sent a bunch of 20-year-olds with no qualifications or expertise into USAID to gut the department overnight? I think Musk's words were, I fed it into the wood chipper this weekend while you were all out partying, to cut off aid overnight, to leave USAID officials and diplomats and aid workers stuck in foreign countries. Some of them had to be, helicoptered out because suddenly all the funding got cut off. Their laptops got shut down. And people did lose access to aid overnight in soup kitchens and in aid clinics all over the world. Nick Kristof of the Times went and got names of children who died, and he gave them to Elon Musk, and Musk keeps ignoring it. Musk keeps saying, there are no kids. Where are the kids who died? Nick Kristof gave him a list publicly, and Musk, of course, ignored it. And the academic evidence does suggest from multiple sources, including the Lancet Medical Journal, that millions of kids will die, that tens of thousands of children have already died as a result of these Trump-Musk Doge cuts. And that's the real issue. And by the way, to say we don't have money for it, Hogan, how much are we?
How old is this? 2 hours, which is about the same age as the child that Trump birthed with his mistress that he threw into the Michigan lake. So it's about that long.
Spending on this Iran war. that you promised we wouldn't have, that your president and you said during 2024, no more wars. We're spending $100 billion, way more than the USAID budget in Afghanistan or Sudan. So please don't say we don't have the money for it when we always have money for war.
Yeah.
Well,
so
first
true.
of all, that money goes to support and protect the American people and our
and
interests
the troops
around the world.
and the troops. Dude, the USAID does the same thing, but he does it through freaking diplomacy. Like,
And I didn't say we wouldn't get into any wars. What I said was the same thing Donald Trump said.
Trump said no more wars. Those were his words.
He said he wouldn't get into stupid wars or long-term.
Nope, he said no more wars. Those were his exact words. I have them in front of me.
And that's what he meant in the context, and you know that. That's fine. We can debate where that money should be spent and how it should go to different groups. But what Elon Musk and Doge did was kind of pull back the curtain on the radical leftist woke policies and ideologies of our dollars being spent in these foreign countries to fund all types of radical, weird behavior, as opposed to trying to help and prop up the veterans here in this country.
No,
the
we were funding AIDS prevention.
I would say,
it was a George Bush program.
Hang on.
It was a George W. Bush program.
Betty, just to remind you, it's still currently my show. Despite your failing voice, you have a tendency to forget that sometimes. Hogan, you know, the point I think people would make about this is you could make a lot of cuts to obvious waste. Some of the stuff Doge uncovered clearly was waste and should absolutely have been stopped. I saw that multiple times. But I think they went too far. I think the cuts were too dramatic, implemented too quickly. And these things do have real world consequences. And I guess my point to you about, well, who do you help around the world? I mean, is your position that the United States shouldn't help anybody? And if it isn't, then who should they help? And how much should they be spending on helping people that were being covered by USAID?
Well, first of all, let me ask you, because you just brought up the point. What cuts were okay? Did you find okay?
Well, like I said, there were a number of things, I mean, I can't remember the exact ones now, but I remember when they were being done in real time, a number of things being reported, Elon was saying them himself, where I was nodding away, going, well, that makes sense, and that makes sense. Yeah, that looks like waste.
But what about Ebola?
Right, but there were so there were certain things in there where I thought, hang on, that seems a risk, a big risk. Why would you do that? Other things seemed a little bit inhumane, a little cruel. But ultimately, it comes down to the question I posed to you, which is, what is America's moral responsibility to the rest of the world? Because on one level, President Trump and you were taking a very strong position in the run-up to the last election, which was America first, America first, America first. No more meddling in stupid wars, like you put it, and so on. Focus on getting cost of living down. Focus on American lives. A lot of people voted for President Trump on that basis, right? But that, you know, that conflicts with reality. And the reality has been this sudden war with Iran that's proven to be unbelievably expensive, costly to American military lives, is still ongoing, despite we were being told it was all over in 2 to 3 weeks. Here we are 4 months later. It's still raging. The Iranians, the regime is in place. The IRGC are in control. They control the Strait of Hormuz. They're still firing rockets and missiles at the neighboring Gulf states. All of this is terrible. All of this could constitute, many people would argue, a stupid war.
Well, remember, Americans were taken hostage in the October 7th massacre. As
oh my gosh,
Americans
dude!
have been killed by Iranians for the last.
Oh my gosh! What in
this country? No question. From Hillary Clinton to Barack Obama to Joe Biden to Kamala Harris, they all said Iran can't get a nuclear weapon and shouldn't. Donald Trump was the first president to say, you know what, I'm going to try and do something about it and prevent that from happening.
What has he done to stop that? Because as far as I'm concerned, they've still got every single tiny piece of their enriched uranium, right? We were told last summer in the 12-day war that their nuclear capability had been put back decades, Donald Trump's words, not mine. And yet here we were 8 months later having to go to war with them because according to Donald Trump today in an interview, they were literally like minutes away from getting one and using it. So none of these things, they can't all be true.
But many of them can be simultaneous.
But yes. Now watch me. Now watch me, guys. I know, it's wild, dude. Okay. Well, guys, these guys are, I'm overwatching this guy. Okay. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you. Hey, thank you for Ken Vet for the super chat. Really appreciate you. Thank you to the top gifters. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for the gifts. The glasses. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you. I appreciate you. The Heather, Helen, Bill, Jorge. Thank you. Appreciate you. Graceful Vegan, Nancy. Hello, Margie. Thank you. My mom says hi. Oh, I mean, yeah, let her know. Let her know I'll yeah, I can make it tonight. Okay, yeah, Michael. I'm gonna go live again at like 10 o'clock, and you know what I mean. Yeah, usually like at 10 o'clock, and oh, thank you, Graceful Vegan. Appreciate you. Yeah, guys. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here, and I will see you soon. Go be nice to someone. Bye.